So I called Lisa Echeverry, she's the Secretary of the Department of Revenue. I described the story to her. I said, Lisa, do you have the ability to draw out payments or extend payments? If this is an emergency situation, do we need some additional legislation to provide relief to these many businesses who have been impacted in this way, through no fault of their own? We cannot have our business owners going bankrupt, not making their mortgage payments, having to fire their employees and put their employees on the unemployment roll because BP won't pay a legitimate claim. So the next day, she came to the cabinet meeting, which we had this past Tuesday, and we reviewed together some of the things that we as policymakers can in fact do. And that's why when the governor reinitiated his call for a special session to pass a constitutional amendment, or put a constitutional amendment in the ballot to prohibit near-beach drilling, I called for a special session for another reason. To review the things that legislatively we might do in order to provide relief to our businesses. And at that same cabinet meeting, a week before, when we knew that those tar balls were going to show up on our beaches, I wrote a letter to the CEO of BP, Tony Hayward, and asked him to make a personal appearance before the 4 statewide elected officials in our state to share with us what BP's plans were to protect our coast and to compensate our businesses. And while he did not come, he did send one of his executives who reviewed the claims process. And one of the things he said was, we understand that it's important to be very speedy about compensating these business owners for their losses. And you know, I just had to stop right there and say to Mr. Fryer, Mr. Fryer, your definition of speed and my speed are 2 entirely different things. You need to reevaluate your definition of speed. And I wrote a letter to the president a couple of weeks ago now, when I realized that from a business person's perspective, that's why you sent me to Tallahassee 4 years ago, from a business person's perspective, the decision-making process is all wrong.